And what's it been like communicating with WAPOL? I know there was a meeting last week that you mentioned, and it was held in Perth, and you're from Albany, so you couldn't get up there. You would have to close your shop early, and they just did not cater for regional gun shops. So, what's your communication been like with WAPOL for this whole entire period?
Oh, look, it's hard to. There's a lot of good people in licensing. I think that do try. They make allowances when you ask and you ask the right questions the right way. But the general communication sort of, I guess, hasn't really been there at all. It's like the info night they had on Wednesday night. I think it was 5 o'clock. Like I said, I'm short staffed. I'm pretty much there on my own with one other person at the moment who's brand new. So I can't leave the shop. I did send 3 or 4 emails requesting that, can we do a Teams meeting or even just, the PowerPoint presentation afterwards. I didn't get any replies, so I sort of went up the chain with that. And in the end was told, no, there won't be anything. So I don't know what happened on that night. So we're in the dark a little bit there. I believe there was some info on the assessments and everything that are coming out that we have to go through next week, but we still don't know. We don't know what that looks like from TAFE and all those sort of things. So, the communication, I find, I said this in the article the other day, probably 80% of what I find out is through Facebook or, if someone brings in an email that they've received and it's like, okay, so you can do that. Then I go to WAPOL and licensing and clarify that, and then they're really good. They come back and like, yep, that's the case. But it'd be nice if that was the case all along, and they just let us know prior to these things. Well, they don't even come out. It's like everyone has to ask a million questions to try and figure out what we can and can't do, and then we get it clarified, and then we can sort of put it on our own Facebook page. And like the shotgun swaps and the banned firearm swaps. I think it was only a week and a half ago that we found out, and I only saw it through someone posting it on Facebook. So, then we go to WAPOL, clarify that, and then we can sort of run with that. But the cutoff being the 31st, it's not enough time. I've written again the powers that be that I'm hoping we can get a little bit of an extension on that. There's a lot of people that, there's a lot of older people. We have a lot of pensioners, a lot of people that want to save up to replace their rifle. I'm not too sure why the 31st is a hard and fast rule. But sure, I can understand that they've got their date at the 31st, all the banned guns to be down again, but surely we could have a bit more time for these guys to buy another firearm and just replace it. They've shown their genuine need. So, and look, I might be missing something there. Like I said, I'm only 2 years in, so. But yeah, the general communication is a matter of finding out what you can and then getting clarified. We've got no point of. Well, I don't have. We've never been given a point of contact. We've never been given a phone number we can call. We have to call the same number, which don't bother. I haven't got time when there's too many people in the shop on the phone when you want to stop. So yeah, it's hard. That side of it's hard. Then you do get the advice, and sometimes it's changed 2 days later, so you go back to that same person, and then the advice changes again.
Mm.
And look, and it's a big thing that's happening. There's always going to be things like that happens, but there's a lot of things that are happening like that I think can easily be avoided just through a bit more resourcing from there and a bit more communication.
Yeah, this has been the surprising thing that I've heard from a lot of people is if firearms is such a high profile public safety sensitive topic and they've rolled out these new laws, why hasn't the communication been timely, clear, consistent? You just mentioned there was an opportunity for people to swap their guns without paying the transfer or application fee. A lot of people I know that I've spoken to weren't aware of that. It just hasn't been advertised properly. So you sit back and you wonder what is actually going on if we're such a industry and community that's under the microscope and needs to comply with the toughest laws I would say in the world. Why isn't the structure of the state and the police force there to ensure that there is this time and transition period so people can make sure they're not not complying with the new laws in time by the 31st of March. And the deadlines for this have just been so short. 23rd of December, those bans came out on lever actions above 5 round magazine and the push button release. People are away. Some of them didn't get the letters about that until this month. And that's something we've written directly to the police commissioner about, by the way, is if you're going to make such big changes and people were still getting PTAs approved up until last month, well, what are the people meant to do? And you've closed the buyback. There's things about swapping guns. People just don't know. So as a business owner, how do you even navigate the new laws when things are changing daily and people are getting told different information or no information at all? It must put you in a terrible position.
Yeah, it does. It's well, and I've still got people messaging me today. They're still messaging me saying, "What's changing the laws?" A lot of these, you know, in the regional areas, a lot of these guys aren't. Everyone's getting ready for seeding. Everyone's busy on the farms. They don't have time. They don't have time to sit there and try and figure this out. So they come to us and they're just confused. They don't get it. They don't understand how it's happening. So we're pushed for time. So it's hard to explain to them what's going on. And then you've got people that work away. So we've got a lot of FIFO, a lot of Dido workers down here. A lot of people are away for 4 weeks. Wife's got the letter while they've been on their 4 week swing, and now we're getting phone calls that, well, I'm not back for 2 weeks. How can I do it? And nobody wants to give up this gun. So when they do replace it, they want to replace it with something that they want, and not just something just so they can quickly get in. Um, you know, the straight pull guns haven't been around for a while now because the push buttons have been so popular. So we need to get that stock back in as well. The T1000 is going to be coming back, which is a popular gun, which will be another really popular one, but that won't be until sort of May. And then how many do you order? How many? It's hard. It's hard to make those sort of business decisions when you don't know what's around the corner.